Welcome to the Plains People Podcast for episode 8. This is August 5th. If you don't know what the Plains People Podcast is, it's me, Mark Gaviglios, sitting in my basement talking to somebody from the Fargo Moorhead area. The person we're talking to today is Alissa Allery. She owns Alikat Studios. She does airbrush tattoos, caricature. She's also an artist. She's on the board for the Fargo Moorhead Visual Artists. And most importantly, she's a pretty good friend of mine. I've been friends with her for a long time. I even did some contract work, some artist work with her, and it's awesome. This is a really good talk. I think it went a lot of good places, and I'm really excited to share it with you. And welcome to August. We made it through most of the summer, so we only got a little bit left. So if you guys haven't got a good farmer's tan yet, go out and get some when there's still sun, because there is a horrible winter coming, probably. Just assuming. And that is my producer grabbing a cookie. And this is me saying, enjoy the podcast. Boo 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 ba 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 boo 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 boo. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Just got off work. Did you work today?
In a way, just like for myself.
Like I didn't get paid, but I did a bunch of shit, like that kind of work?
Pretty much. I'm like in negotiations with this business about a commission that I did for them.
Oh, okay.
So it was just like some emails from my couch, like in my pajamas.
So that's
kind of like
so you lied. That isn't work at all.
That is work, because if I didn't do that shit, I wouldn't get any money. You know?
I guess. Okay. All right. It isn't like. I mean, I wish my.
I didn't have to like put on a uniform and like go listen to someone.
You have to put on steel-toed work boots and hard hat. Are our levels good now?
Yeah, you could.
All right, God. I'm never worried about it, and now I'm worried. I don't know why.
Because she's quiet.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah, I never got that feedback.
What?
I've been always told that I was like really loud.
You're obnoxious, but you're quite obnoxious. See, you're one of those rare.
A subtle flavor of obnoxious.
But anyone who knows me will never think anyone else is loud. And when people are, it's insane. Yeah. Like if I'm like, holy shit, he talks a lot, then that guy must be on a new level. Like if I'm annoyed by somebody, that guy must be poison. That's as far as I can tell. Because I'm poison to a lot of people. Anyways, so your name's Alissa, right?
Yep.
I called you Alissa for so long.
Yep.
And you never corrected me. So
yeah,
thanks.
I'm numb to it.
Yeah.
Because it's spelled Alissa.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but my mom was always like, no, that's how you spell Alissa. And I was like, that's not right.
But Alissa is how you would think you would spell
phonetically,
Alissa.
yeah, that's the right way to say it.
Yeah.
So, and it's just like, I don't like correcting people because I don't want to. And
does it just not matter?
Not anymore.
As long as you know they're talking to you.
You know, actually, to be honest, it depends what kind of mood I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, I don't care. Sometimes if I have like a hair up my ass or something, like my name's Alissa.
I think it depends on who it would be too. Like if it's like somebody who you've known for a long time, or like somebody you're on a date with. Like, hey, Alissa, if you're like, fuck you, dude, we're past the Tinder, we're at the date now. You gotta get this shit right. Or if it's like the person at the bank, they can call me whatever the fuck they want. They don't.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Just give me my ticket.
It doesn't matter.
Leave.
I used to have this like really good I thought it was a really good way to get people to remember, and it was like just like think Mona Lisa without the moan. But at that time, I was like 18, 19, and I was cocktailing at the Empire, and that one didn't work there.
Yeah. Because
like every drunk dude is like, oh, I'll give you a moan.
Yeah, I'll give you a moan.
It's like, wow, you really lobbed that one out of the park. The creativity just abounds.
I just remembered we started recording and I didn't grab beer for me for when this coffee runs out. So that's something the producer's gonna do later. Yeah, 2 please.
4?
2 for me, as many as you need.
8?
Anyways, now that he's gone. So where'd you grow up? You grew up around Fargo?
Not really. Well, for the first 15 years of my life, I was like born in Texas, lived in a couple parts of California, lived in Wisconsin for a while, came here when I was a kid for a little bit. I lived in Indiana for a minute.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. That's the cat. By the way, listeners, the cat's in the room and he's going to make noise. Kitten! I can't yell that loud, but usually if I yell, he stops. But I don't want to yell because we're recording.
Hurt people's ears.
I'm going to throw the Sharpie at him, though. Yeah, get down.
Nice.
See, the cool thing about throwing stuff at him is he doesn't mind if he gets hit. He's gonna, no matter what, he's gonna chase the thing I threw at him.
Oh, sweet.
So it's not like I'm actually abusing him, just throwing him a toy at him.
Yeah.
But anyways, ooh, thank you. You even opened it. All right. So you said you moved all over. So you were born in Texas?
Oh, well, yeah, I was born in Texas. I'm good. Thank you, though. Yeah, I was born in Texas, but we didn't live there for very long. And, yeah, I spent, and then everywhere I lived, like, in whatever state, we moved around a lot in the city, too. So I never really had, like, consistency.
I know what that one's like. We never really made it past Elise once in my life. And I didn't realize that it was like that, because I went to almost every elementary school in Fargo.
Oh, yeah, no,
yeah.
I hear ya.
Yeah, and I didn't realize until I was like 19 when I had to like, oh, Elise is coming up. Should I re-sign it and live here for another year? It like clicked. I'm like, that's why we moved. Mom could never make it through Elise. Like, it all figured out in my head. Like, that's why we suddenly had to move in a week, you know?
Yeah. Oh, man, we would have to bounce out. Pretty in the nighttime a lot.
Yeah.
We'll just wake up like, pack your stuff, we're going.
They said 2 more days, but I forgot. So now we have 1 more day, and it's now. That sucks. So you had those kind of parents. I'm glad.
Well, I had my mom. Like, my dad wasn't really around. Like,
okay.
Like, when I was 4 is when that kind of ended. But
okay.
Like, yeah, my mom was just a hustler, and, the short grift, so you keep moving.
Okay, like that kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that doesn't sound super fun for growing up, but at least you got to see other places.
Well, I saw a lot of places, but, like, really I didn't have anything to contrast, so I didn't really realize that how I was growing up was, like, dysfunctional or strange until, like, I started getting into more consistent, like, foster care when I got placed with my cousin.
And then you're like, wait a second, this is different.
So y'all each get your own bed? That's how it is? Well, that was fucked up.
It was, high school when I started going to other people's houses. And I was like, wait a second, how come you guys don't have a giant bong in your bedroom, like, that you have to hide in case mom gets raided again? Yeah. Like, what the hell?
So why does your laundry smell clean?
What are these weird white boxes that wash clothes? Yeah, so that's good. I always love whenever I meet somebody else who also grew up poor, because I know that's weird, but I still to this day... the most uncomfortable I can be is at, like, a group who knows each other like family, and they're all middle-class white people. Or upper. Uh-huh. It's extremely uncomfortable for me. Like, if I have, like, a friend who graduated, and I have to go to his graduation party, and it's nothing but his, like, family, and they know each other, and none of them have ever struggled... Or at least in the way that or maybe they have and I just perceive it that way. It's always been super uncomfortable for me.
I think I know what you mean. Like, it's just like, it's harder to relate.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to relate. Because I just, like, will feel like an outsider.
Yeah, and even if they're not having those thoughts, I'm like, they smell the welfare on me. like I know they can. And I know it's all irrational, but it's still something... I still get, even my wife, who I've been to her, she has an aunt who throws, like, this big rich pool party, and we just went to it every year. And she lives, like, Eden Prairie in the same cul-de-sac as, like, baseball players, like, Major League Baseball players. So they're not struggling. Yeah. Her husband's, like, a surgeon, and she, like, is a high-class wedding dress designer. You know, whatever, rich people stuff. Even there, and I know some of those people, I'm still, like, around them, because they'll say weird stuff like... You know, like, Simpsons ruined America. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't be here.
That's quite a statement.
Yeah. No, they want to argue that like, family dysfunction peaked after The Simpsons happened. And I was like, that's not it at all.
That's not how this works.
I'm pretty sure kids were beaten way before Bart Simpson got choked. Like, I'm just saying.
That's not how any of
it wasn't like this guy's trying to find a way to get his anger out and he sees Homer strangling his kid. He's like, that's it! I should be doing that! That didn't happen that way. Oh, I should hit him! Oh!
Little light bulb goes off.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, upsie daisy.
No. Early Simpsons was very much so a reflection of like the middle, lower to upper.
Yeah,
lower
at
to
that
middle
time it would have
class,
been
like,
lower middle.
It was like it was lower middle class, maybe middle class, like just like.
Well, because Homer still worked a full-time job.
He did.
He was shitty at it, but he still worked a full-time job in an economy that only one person had to. And he was like a safety superintendent at the power plant. If that has anything to do with like the safety guy at the factory I work at, that's actually a pretty good job.
Yeah, that was pretty
He's
good.
not a grunt.
Yeah.
So, but Marge was staying home, and that's about it. And Homer just sucked at being a human. So there was also that.
But he showed up for work every day.
Yeah.
Like
he slept at work, but
but nonetheless he went.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's some people that have a lot of trouble with just doing that. So,
yeah, there's a lot of people. People like. I always like to say I thought I was lazy until I like started working at where I do now, and there's people who go in an entire 12-hour shift doing fucking nothing, and I'm like, if I'm the one trying to rally us to work, that's a problem. I'm a lazy bastard.
Basically, the canary in the coal mine right
Yeah.
here is trying to like, organize and facilitate team effort.
Yeah, it's like yeah. Anyways, what time did you then settle in this area? Was that way later? Like post high school?
Okay, no, I had just turned 15.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I had just turned 15. I was going to high school in Denver, and then I came here and they put my ass in middle school again because that's how like the Fargo system had it set up. 9th grade was middle school.
Yeah. Was it Ben Franklin?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I went to Ben too.
Yeah, no, that's right. We went to the same high school. We were both in DECA together.
No, I wasn't in DECA.
You weren't in DECA?
No. You're probably thinking of no one else.
For years.
No, I was never in DECA. I made fun of people in
Oh,
DECA.
no, you know what? You're right. You made fun of DECA.
Yeah, I made fun of DECA.
You know, that's why I like to market like a fucking boss.
Yeah, I know, I know, but it was that I never had that thought of like marketing when I was in high school because I was just about like getting drunk and doing nothing in high school. And when this was my thought, I was making fun of a guy named Josh, who was in DECA, who's like another like punk kid like me. I was like, what do you do in DECA? He's like, just think about what it can do to your resume. And I was like, I want to fucking give you a swirly right now. Don't talk about resumes. I'm in like 10th grade. I don't want to think about my resume right now. And I didn't think I was going to go to college or anything at that point, so I didn't think about marketing. I didn't even know what I wanted to be.
I wasn't really thinking of that either. It was just, I liked it.
You liked it? Yeah.
Well, it breaks things down for you. It shows you how to kind of like separate people into different subcategories.
That sounds like a horrible thing.
It is. It actually is pretty soulless. Kind of evil.
It taught me this great solace thing. Oh, jeez.
Well, no, it can show you like, okay, you have a product. Mm-hmm. Now, here is how you basically break down your demographic, your geographic, like all these little subsections of people, and it helps you not waste your time. How to more directly.
So not in a horrible segregating way,
you're
but
like predicting consumer trends. You are you learn things. You gather information about your client base. That way, you can better like provide them the services that they're looking for.
So you're not trying to sell an umbrella to somebody who already has an umbrella. Look for people who don't have them.
Yeah,
I feel you.
You gotta know. You gotta learn how to know your market.
Yeah, and you
then communicate with
you
them.
learn that stuff in high school.
Yeah, no, it was, it was a marketing class. It was two marketing classes, and I was super into it. I went to, like, state, and I went to internationals once.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I accidentally lettered in it. I didn't realize.
I didn't know you could letter in
I didn't even get
DECA.
a fucking letterman's jacket. I didn't really have
What does DECA
spirit.
stand for? Can you open that door? Will that give us any bit of a breeze? No.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I have no clue.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Well, kind of helped a little, or maybe that was just the opening of the door. Sorry, I'm gonna warn you right now. I'm gonna sweat profusely every time I do a podcast. I'm like, I end it like I just ran a mile, and a mile's off.
I don't really care.
I'm just letting you know it's gonna get gross.
Are you gonna like flick it at me or something?
No, I'm just gonna get really repulsive to look at. We're both really stinky. Yeah.
So like, wait from the door.
Danny, no talking. You know the rules. Anyways, and all right, I had a question. I forgot it because I got on the sweat. All right, you don't need to do that anymore. Thanks, Danny. So what year did you graduate? Was it around the same time I did?
2002.
Oh, then way before I did. Not way before. Sorry, that came off way wrong.
I'm not afraid. I'm not sad that I've managed to live this long.
Okay, yeah, no, I feel like
I'm pretty proud that I'm here.
I made it past 27, so that's kind of a big deal for me.
Congratulations.
I wanted to die rich at 27.
Yeah.
Fuck that up.
Well,
so I'm like just right above not being poor now, and in 29, so that sucks.
So how close are you to death?
According to that, very far away, because
okay.
I'm not 27 and I'm not super rich.
Well, you said you wanted to die rich at 27.
I wanted to die rich at 27.
Yeah, no, so you're failing.
Yeah, so I really fucked it up. Yeah, and then, now I'm like married, talking about future shit and stuff. It's scary.
Yeah, no, it hits you in the face.
Yeah, bought a car.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. I paid cash for my car. I felt
Really?
like a fucking baller. Yeah.
You pay ones and fives, like, and just forget where the other grand is and grab it out of your bra. It would be hilarious. Like, oh, sorry, here's the other one.
Yeah.
What do you do? No, I'm a teacher. Like, just like say the most PC thing. Are you a stripper? No, I'm actually a lawyer. What the fuck? What, a lawyer can't pay with shit with ones and fives?
Right?
You know, it's, you can tell I work today because all my give a shit is gone. And you're tired, so...
I'm not tired, I'm very highly caffeinated.
You're highly caffeinated.
So I'm wired and I'm kind of present.
Okay, so your give a shit's gone then, too.
I already warned you about that.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'm glad. That's the perfect time to do a podcast.
Okay, right.
It's okay, no one listens. It's fine. Yeah. I'm going to say this one more thing, and then we're going to move on. You have to remember to do a selfie. We've been trying to do selfies and then use them as, like, the fucking, like,
The photo
picture on
attached to
YouTube.
them, yeah.
And I've said this to the last 3 people, and we always forget. So it's always been just a generic, like, name of the podcast, just Plains People, and it's never been a picture with the person.
Oh, yeah, you get more responses.
Yeah, well, I also, the idea is for people in Fargo to listen and people who know both of us, so a person's like, oh, I actually know that person.
Yeah.
And if it's just a name, maybe it won't register that they know them. Anyways, see, marketing, what's up? I had a marketing class in college, so I kind of remember it. And I was actually really good at marketing. We had to print out, make business cards and print out 100, and you had to give out 100, and I gave out 700 in a semester.
Shit, nice.
And because I was actually working for a place at the time, so I actually had a reason. Everyone else is like, it's weird to give it out when you don't even have a product. I'm like, I'm selling t-shirts. I'm screen printing and selling t-shirts. So I actually had a product.
Nice, yeah.
So I gave out shit ton, and even the guy who now runs the shirt company called Fingers Duke, Derek is his name, came to my wedding. You were at my wedding, right?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, what's up? I had to have that conversation with Leslie, like, Alissa came to our wedding, didn't she? And she's like,
totally
yeah,
there.
for sure.
Had a great time.
Anyways, good, thank you.
It's a fucking Ferris wheel at your wedding.
Get drunk at the zoo, like, what the hell?
I know, right?
It's a carousel.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but anyways,
It was one of the spinny things.
Derek said that he, like, recently-ish, so it would have been, like, 6 years after I gave out all my cards, somebody was like, hey, I was looking for somebody to make t-shirts, and I, for some reason, have, like, Mark Gaviglios t-shirt making card, and he's like, holy shit, okay! Like, I was like, boom, getting you customers 6 years later.
Right.
That's what you guys get.
Yeah.
Help. All right, so you graduated 2002. So what'd you do right after you graduated? Did you jump right into doing art? Did you go to college?
No, I went right to college, and I thought about, because I'd liked to draw ever since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I thought about being an artist, and then I thought about poverty and obscurity. So I started in elementary ed, and halfway through that semester I was like, this shit is not for me.
Yes.
And then
daycare with less pay and more responsibility.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's horrible.
So it's just like that wasn't my thing. So I switched over to a psychology major, which I actually I was in psychology in high school. I had taken the AP classes. It was something I had a lot of interest in, but I don't remember my reasoning. But then I kind of pandered out of that. And then I majored in oceanography for just a quick minute. I don't know what the fuck.
Fuck it, man, whales.
I just learned about tectonic plates. It was neat.
Is that oceanography's tectonic plates?
Well, that's
I know they're in the ocean, but I would think
they're all
that's
over, but under the ocean too. Yeah.
Oceanography would be like aquatic, biology.
Well, yeah, it is. Well, it just starts with how the plates move and how that causes disturbances in the water.
In the forest.
Well, they think yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Like I'm telling you, I didn't like.
You said a hot minute. Explain the whole thing.
We should move forward to where I dropped out of college. In
Okay.
In the middle of my oceanography class.
We just did it. Look, we just got to that moment right when you said it.
Yeah, it is. Right.
Oh God.
And like no, I did because like I was just spinning my wheels a lot and. Yeah, and I was like working full time. I had no time management skills.
Where you working? You were at Empire at this point?
No, I was at the Fargo Frying. That was like when I turned 18. I started working at the Fargo Frying Pan, and I would do like 40 hours a week from like 5 to like.
Wait, the one that's still there, the Frin Pan?
Yeah, the Frin.
Yeah. I always called it Frin Pan.
Yeah, a lot of people did actually. Yeah.
Well, it's spelled like Frin.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an apostrophe, but fuck apostrophes.
Yeah, I know.
ain't nobody got time for that shit. Apostrophes. But anyways, yeah, I was part of the group in high school or even younger. Like, when I was about 15, I was friends with people from like 18 to like 21 who like hung out all night. So we used to go Frying Pan like all night, all the time.
I actually met a lot of like my really good friends from that because they were the group that would.
Danny,
like,
can I hear the TV? Can you? Mike could just go there and turn down a little. She doesn't need that loud. You know, it's not my wife. It's my roommate. You can yell at her. I don't care.
I don't care.
Okay. This is. I literally take over her room whenever it's time to do a podcast. I throw her bed over and just like, yeah. I like to lie and call this the guest room, but you clearly can tell it's like my whole. Like there's just nerd shit and beer bottles everywhere. Couldn't tell what I do in here. Nothing. Anyways, so you're working at the Fargo Frying Pan, and you left college, but you went to oceanography first because you realized...
I was in college working at Fargo Frying Pan, and then like I just basically like something snapped in my head, and I quit that fucking job because that was not for me.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a lot.
Were you serving all night? Were you doing?
Yeah, I do like from the 5 o'clock at night until like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. Like,
oof.
Yeah, well, yeah, the barbers crowd always tipped the most, and everybody else was just kind of like chintzy tippers all day. Even it doesn't matter how fantastic my service was, but it gave me a lot of customer service skills, and it gave me the ability to kind of like feel people out.
Yeah.
And so that's something I've been able to use a lot. But then like I figured out that like working in bars, you get tipped a lot more.
Yeah.
And you have to do a lot less work.
Yeah.
Like the frying pan works you like fucking horse. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been serving at my sister's restaurant in Fort Ransom this summer, just for something to do. Because I took the unemployment and I can't not work. I got bored. Yeah. So I decided I'll do like 3 12-hour shifts a week instead of 5.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing. I wanted less work. So I noticed one fundamental thing, at least this is my perception, I don't know how you perceive serving, but one fundamental thing of serving I couldn't get down is being treated like a machine. Like, oh, I tell you your thing, you take that thing, you do something with it. I don't feel like a human being, or like I'm talked to as a human being as a server, so it makes me like immediately lash out. Yeah. So I'll walk up to people and I won't be like, oh, do you want to hear a special? I'm like, hey, what's up? And I never do say the same thing. I try to act very natural, very candid, and try to start conversations, and I throw out jokes. And half the time it's perfect. Like people get it and they'll fire back and it's hilarious. Yeah. Other time people are like, why does this guy think he's a human? Mm-hmm. And it doesn't work out. And I don't get tips.
I know that feeling. But I hear you. I like the challenge of it. Like of like walking up to a table, getting a feel for them, and then knowing how to approach them in order to like manipulate them into.
See, I never got that part. I never got that whole get a feel for them first. I'll just walk up, what's up, cocksuckers? And 3 nuns looks at me, and I'm like, ah, fuck, I shouldn't have did that.
No, I had a pretty standard, because you have to like I kind of mentally checked out after a little bit, and it's just like, hi, how are you? And like you have the regular spiel or whatever. Yeah. And then I like doing things just because my brain gets bored. It's like I would memorize the menu and stuff really well. And if you do that, I figured out like if you know how to work that menu to get people exactly what they want and even save them 50 cents, they fucking love you. And it's just like, well, I can do that.
Well, I noticed since I'm working at my sister's place and her husband's the chef, and she comes up with the menu too, but they're both just amazing cooks. Yeah. So I love the menu, and that makes it so much easier when people are like, what do you like of it? And you're like, oh shit, I get to talk about how amazing that is, and then I will, and then people realize that I'm not just like saying, oh, well, we were supposed to push the salmon today, so
Yeah,
the
exactly.
salmon's good. But no, really, try the hot beef, it's amazing, and try the Reuben, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But we're supposed to say, try the steak. So.
No, totally. Yeah, just try to just like meet people on more of a human level.
Yeah.
But then like at the frying pan, like you said, like some people just like don't really want that. They just want a robot to come up and take their order and walk away. And it's just like, I just stopped caring. I had this trick. I used to call it the Steamboat Willie. And it's like, cause like some people are like a little, I'm not, stressed. And
Man, it's funny that it took you that long to come up with the word I constantly think in my head. Stressed.
Well, it was the nicest way I could say what I'm about to say. They're just like, that's like they've had a bad day, and a server is a perfect like dumping site for that. Like my tea temperature is slightly off.
You're the only person next to this table I don't have to go home with, so you get to be yelled at.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And so, but like I have this thing where while they're like giving me the what for or whatever, there's that cartoon from like, what was it, the 1920s, so the Steamboat Willie, like he's like, it's just like a little black and white Mickey, and he's on the boat, and it's like
the classic.
It's all the rocking motion, and he's so happy.
I think we're about to hear a doorbell. Oh, a knock.
It's a knock.
Yeah, the food dudes just walked by.
Gotcha.
It's okay, I'm not going to eat the food until after the podcast.
Fair
I'm
enough.
not going to just chow on this fettuccine like, yeah, what else? Oh, so Steamboat Willie. But yeah, so you just play the cartoon until it ends?
Yeah, well, pretty much I would put that in my head, and what it would do, it would get me kind of like nodding to the music, and like that imagery makes me happy, so I'd have a slight smile on my face. And so it would look like I'm being very attentive and listening and receptive to what they're saying, and really
you're just
I have just like, but I have like a total firewall up on their negativity.
Yeah.
I'm there enough to listen to like, okay, this is what they're mad about. Mentally, this is what I can do about it. This will probably be the outcome. And it's like, once I've got those like three things, that's all I really need to hear from you.
Yeah, I wish I had that ability to just not take, like, I soak in all the emotion coming at me, and I don't have the ability to like shut it down. I wish I could.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm great at it, but
but you were at frying pan.
At the frying pan, I was a lot more cold, callous, and emotionally calculated when I was younger. It was something about getting pregnant.
Well, I was just gonna say, being a mom made that go away.
It literally changes your brain. It changes your brain. You become like crazy empathetic. Like it's kind of not fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it like propagates like the existence of human race. Like, you know, I gotta have like more like compassion and empathy.
I mean, no, it's a good thing that when you actually have to start taking care of animals.
It's not like I can like sit down and watch Hostel and like laugh my ass off anymore. I'm just like, oh my god, that's so
I've never been able to watch that crap.
I was pretty evil. Well, not evil, like just
there's the doorbell.
More,
he had to come back.
Desensitized. I had an older brother, and he watched a lot of scary movies.
I guess we're gonna have to.
I love the fan. That
deal with
really
the fan. Don't open that door. Jesus, this is just a shit show. Anyways, so let's move on past frying pan. So let's get to the next step. So you were at frying pan when you left school. College?
I was working at the frying pan.
Yeah.
I went to my first music festival. My friend took me to it. Like, I was from Denver. Like, I hadn't been to any like hippie fests or anything like that before. But it was just like so chill, and there was just like music around and people just like relaxing. And I'd been like on such like go mode, just like school and work. It was like the first time I was introduced to just kind of like
chill.
No, I've been like, I very much thought I got like, basically I'd been living on my own since I was 17, just like focusing on high school, focusing on college, just like so like working myself so hard. And then I went to that and I just got this feel for, hey, there's like a little bit more life. And so after I got back from that music festival, I was walking into work, and one of the coworkers, I had a frenemy, I guess, like he was just like very enthusiastic and nice to my face, but like to talk shit behind my back.
Oh yeah, I just call those people assholes.
Yeah, little bitches.
Like no, you're not actually my friend. Well, friendship's not to my face. Friendship's a thing.
Yeah, and that was the thing. And I just like, I tolerated a lot of that shit, but by the time I came back to it, he just like threw me a little bit of sass, and something snapped in my head. And I was just like, you know what? Fuck you. And I just like grabbed my pager, because they put little pagers on you so you can get buzzed when you get your food. And I just like threw it into a sack of potatoes, and I walked out, and I just I was like, yeah. And that felt great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that felt great. But then I was like, should I have to get a job? So I started cocktailing at the Moorhead VFW before that got turned into Buffalo Wild Wings, I think.
Oh, okay.
Now. Yeah.
That's a Buffalo Wild Wings now?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, yeah. I know
It's in
where.
Moorhead,
Yeah, I remember now. Okay, so, and this was now post-college and then now post...
Well, no, okay, so at that point, I was still kind of in college, and then, and then I had kind of just burnt out, dropped out of college, was aimless for 6 months to almost a year. I was like, that's when, from the year of experience at the VFW, I was able to start working. Oh God, I worked at Chumley's for a minute, and that was if you ever
I can't even go into Chumley's.
Constantly sexually harassed and have like a whole bunch of skinny 18-year-old bouncers that don't do shit, then definitely work there.
Sounds actually like you pitched it well. I might do it. I just need the validation sometimes because I'm a big fat white piece of shit that if every once in a while somebody's like, yeah, shake it, I'm like, oh, thank you.
No, this was like sexual assault style stuff, and they would do nothing about it.
So I was saying, you guys always complain about getting compliments when I yell them out at you outside the car, and I'm just trying to tell you look nice. Stop. I'm kidding. It's a joke. Jesus Christ. But I just wish that if I was walking down Broadway, somebody would catcall at me. Because I would come home, I do got it.
Yeah. Well, if I ever see you on Broadway, when I'm coming out of my studio,
dude, that would be so hilarious if you're just like, no, it's ass. I'm like, yeah, oh, it's you, damn it. No, I actually once did get followed. I had spiked hair. I was 15, and it was downtown. I left. I had spiked hair, Liberty spikes. I was all punked out, and I left Paradox. I was probably 16. Anyways, and I was walking to my friend's house who's on the other side of Broadway. And this dude with this weird red growth on his fucking face followed me, weaved through places to follow me and was trying to get me into his car.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he's like, hey, do you need a ride? And I'm like, no, I'm fine, I'm I'm totally fine. And he just driving, watching me. And then I finally got to where I was going, and I hit the button, and it was like, what's up? And I was like, let me in now. Now. And the guy gets out hey, do you need to ride somewhere? I'm like, I'm at the destination. He's like, I'll bring you back here. I'm like, oh my God. He goes, I could pay you. And the door opened and I got in. And I still think of that whenever somebody brings up being catcalled. I was like, dude, I was followed once and it was enough.
Yeah.
And I even called the cops. I was like, just so you know, there's a weird dude with a very distinctive red face, tumors on his face or whatever it was that just follow underage boys around.
Yeah,
so
that's a good thing.
Take care of that shit.
For sure.
Because maybe somebody does need a ride.
Yeah.
And that's gonna suck. Anyways, I didn't think I would ever tell that story. But yeah, so as much as I'll make jokes about just take a compliment, I'm just catcalling at you. As much as I'm making that joke, I do realize how terrifying it is because you don't know who the hell that is in the car.
I'm never even terrified. I'm just annoyed.
Oh,
I'm just really.
Well, it was for me.
What result do you think you're gonna get out of it?
Yeah, I know. How many times did I met my wife by calling her a hot whore outside? Yeah. You're a hot slut. Hey, let's get married. Funny thing is, that is how I met my wife. No, she picked me up at a bar. Actually, she manipulated the situation and lied to me to get me into bed. And then ignored my calls for about 2 weeks. And then whenever she was drunk, this is all true, whenever she was drunk, she let me come over. And that was it. So I called her dude chick for a while because she was doing what all bros do, where it's no, she likes me, and it's no, just only when I'm drunk I'm gonna call you. And so it finally clicked in my head I'm the fucking booty call. No, what the hell? So and then eventually, so she calls me the one night stand that gone wrong.
Yeah.
She fucked up that one night stand. Damn it, we got married. But anyway, that story never makes her sound good. But no, she's a sweetheart. She's a way nicer person than I am. As we balance each other out. Anyways,
but yeah,
this is a story about me. I don't know why you keep talking about your life. Sorry. Okay.
Okay, so anyway, Chumley's didn't last very long, but then I had some friends that worked at the Empire, and I really liked working at the Empire a lot because it's women bartend, women cocktail, and then you have bouncers who know how to bounce.
Yeah.
And if anybody touches you, if anybody harasses you, if anybody rubs you the wrong way, they kick them the fuck out.
Yeah, and I've always loved that.
I've worked in a lot of bars, and that's the safest one I've ever felt.
Well, those bouncers don't.
No, they don't play, and no, they
Yeah.
don't play. They don't play, and
I do feel
and they weren't gross or weird or harassing or anything.
No.
It was just kind of like a team atmosphere.
Well, and I also feel like that place, like has enough fun and it like fucks off enough that you feel like it's like the dirty bar, but then it stops it right there.
Yeah,
so you have the fun of it being a dive, but you don't have the rapey atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing.
And that's perfect, because you sometimes want that sleazy bar, but you don't want all the bad that come with it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why Nests are closed. like, there is.
I don't know a lot about the Nestor. I never really went there.
Every time I went there, I saw at least one fight, and half of them were just like bartenders getting into it, and it was like, I don't know. This might be one step too far of a dive bar for me, but but they had a lot of punk shows there, so I used to like going to punk shows a lot.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, I don't too much anymore because I'm old and I get headaches. Like, I'm like, why are they so loud? Like, oh shit, how old am I? Okay, so then you start working at Empire.
Yeah, and then like a cool thing happened. I got a job drawing caricatures at the West Acres Mall, and that's like when I started working as an artist.
And that was caricatures.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where'd you learn that? I mean,
there basically. Like,
so it was kind of like an apprenticeship almost.
Yeah, what they did was because I had started talking to them, and I was just like, I was bored. I was trying to buy pants or something, and I hate buying pants because I don't think like women with asses are any shorter, or like they just assume their legs are really long, and mine aren't. So it's like I can never find pants that fit me, and so I was just like irritated. And I was walking around, and there was like this caricature artist sitting there, and like he looked kind of bored, and so I walked up to him. I just had a hair at my ass, and I was like, tell you what, I'll draw your caricature and give you $10 if you show me how to use your airbrush. And he was just like, okay. And so like
awesome.
I drew him, and I guess he thought like I had some sort of talent, because he was like, you know what, we're actually looking to like take somebody on, and he just
you didn't even know that? You just did that on a whim?
I did that on a whim. Just
that's like walking up to a place like, hey, I know I want to do that job. You guys aren't hiring? Like, what the fuck? We didn't tell you?
I'm a people person, Mark.
Are you?
I like talking to people.
I hated you for years.
You were kind of addicted to me the first time I met you.
Yeah, I know. I get that a lot.
Well, I think you just called me conceited.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And I remember we talked
to the story. It was I was talking to someone else, and then you thought I was talking to you, right? And I was like, yeah, I'm talking to her.
Well, I was there vending. I was vending. I was talking to a different vendor, and I heard somebody shout like, "Hey, beautiful!" So I like turned around to see who was talking about what, and you were just like, you were like, "Geez, conceited."
I mean, to be fair, you are beautiful. Just in that, like, only a mom can love you way. I'm kidding. See? I like to do compliments and then flip them around.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I already know I'm hot. So.
Yeah, it's fine. I know I'm, like, the other type of hot. I'm sweaty and gross. Though there's something about, like, as soon as you get the dad bod, before you're a dad, you just want to give up on life. Like, it's like, I look like I have 3 kids, and it's just, I just take shitty care of myself. Like I don't even have, like, it's not like I'm throwing all that attention towards kids, and that's why my life's going to shit. My life's just going to shit. My body just gave up.
Yeah.
Anyways. Okay, so that's when you first started actually getting paid for art, and that's awesome.
Yeah, and that's where I got a lot of my training from, and because it's like drawing in caricatures is really different.
So they had just a caricature artist just hanging out at West Acres Mall?
Well, they had a kiosk.
I don't remember.
And then people would take shifts. Well, that kiosk, like the contract expired a long time ago, and then from there, I was just kind of like, fuck it. Like I wasn't in school. I didn't really have a lot of family in the area, so I was just like, hey, well, the other owner had a kiosk at the Mall of America, and I was like, if you're looking for someone there, could I transfer?
Holy shit! So you went all the way out there?
Oh, I moved to Minneapolis. Yeah, I was tired.
Awesome.
I was tired of living in this. I grew up in like big towns. I wanted to get somewhere bigger again. And that
seems like Mall of America seems like such a better atmosphere for caricatures, because that always has like a fair atmosphere. Mall of America does.
It was like. It was an interesting experience. I got to like draw people of color and airbrush people of color, like
which don't exist in Fargo.
I was like, what color do I had like a 14 color palette, and I'm like, what color do I use for somebody from India? Like, is that like a burnt sienna? And I knew like African American don't use black. Like, that's not gonna work.
It's great when you use brown for everything but their face. They just use complete black for their face. Oh God,
that's horrible. But that gave me an accent. It's like, oh, African undertone is yellow. Had no idea. So I started to be able to like diversify with the type of people that I could render in color.
Well, and you're going to get just much more of a different type of people and everything.
I would get people who were way
here.
more blunt. Like, I was super lucky to start out in Fargo because people are very polite.
Yeah.
So, like, my shit, like, the first person I drew, it was two girls, and at this point, I can knock out a single person in 4 minutes, and I can get a likeness. My line quality is on point. Like, it's really great. But when I first started out, it's like, sit still and smile and hold it, and 45 minutes later, you're gonna get something.
Yeah.
But you already paid me, so and they'll just be like, "Oh, that's great." I'm like, "Thanks, bye."
And so, as a caricature artist, do you ever get afraid of pushing stereotypes? Because that would be the first thing I thought. Like, even if you do for everybody, if you're like, oh, that guy's got big lips, I'm gonna give him big lips, and then it's a black guy and he actually does have big lips, but you don't want to make it look like you're pushing stereotypes, because that would scare the shit out of me. If a guy's like, hey, oh, cool, you racist? No, I just thought...
I had it was like 3 African Americans, and all 3 of them had big lips.
Yeah.
So that was the exaggeration that I did, and that was the comment that they made. It was like, and it was like, well, yeah, it was easy. And it was really that I was like 19. I didn't care. I was working at because I left the Mall of America to work at the Anoka caricature stand, and I did that so I could work underneath a caricature artist whose style I was more trying to emulate.
Okay.
Because he like studied under Tom Richmond directly.
Okay.
And
wow.
all of my initial training was his training, and then I was like over at this other place, and his style was different. Yeah, and I just like it wasn't my place, so I went over there, but it was always really slow, and I'm sorry, I only got 2 hours of sleep. Anyway,
no, it's fine. I always can't talk.
I hardcore digress there, but yeah, so I drew people.
Do you need me to you were telling the story about over exaggerating big lips.
Oh
and,
yeah, no.
And then they made that comment, and you were like, "Oh shit!"
Whatever, they still had to pay me. Like, I don't care. I only had 1 return, like in my entire career, and that was when I first moved to I was at the Mall of America, and I knew it was going to be trouble from the minute that they sat down, because it was like this young Caucasian, relatively attractive, like, girl. Mm-hmm. Well, she had to have been like 19, 20-ish.
Yeah.
And she with her boyfriend, and they sat down, and then she just started out with like, okay, so don't make fun of my nose or my teeth. Don't make fun of my teeth.
And then you're like, fuck you, I'm going to do exactly that.
I wanted money. So I was like, okay, I'm going to draw you exactly how you are. So I did all the proportions right. And homegirl had big-ass teeth. And that's not my fault. That's not my fucking fault. And like, So I just drew her what I thought was relatively like complimentary, and so I gave it to them, and then the boyfriend just like starts laughing and loves it, and he gives me like a big tip, and then like half hour later he comes back and he's looking very embarrassed and downtrodden. He's like, and then his girlfriend's like standing like yards away.
You know that was a rough 30 minutes for him.
Yeah.
It was a bad 30 minutes.
His girlfriend was like standing in the distance with her arms crossed and just like watching him. Like, she wouldn't come up to me, so she sent her boyfriend to do it, and he's like, I gotta return this. And like, he returned the caricature, and he had to take his tip back because she thought that I was like making fun of her face. And it was just like, and it wasn't like I didn't feel like artistically insulted. I felt like bad for her because like I think she was beautiful, and sometimes those things that are augmented about you are what make you unique.
Yeah.
And make you special.
No one likes, like, at least me, I don't like a exactly flawless period. I need something interesting, something that you like. I never found, like, Megan Fox has never stood out to me because she's just like this flawless and then whenever I look at a chick who's got, like, you know, something to notice, maybe, or, you know, I don't want to say something weird, but yeah, I get what you're saying, is you need a characteristic to your face, or else I'm just gonna fucking...
Yeah. I have this, I used to joke with other caricatures, I never actually did it, but like some people, the ones that you're describing, like I would say that, like, well, I'll just give them a blank piece of paper, like, that's my exaggeration.
So, but also, on the point of her getting mad, it is the point of a caricature artist to take your noticeable features and push them. Yeah. Period.
Yeah, and like, seriously, Glamour Shots is on the east side of the mall. Why'd you come to me?
Yeah.
You know, like I'm here to make you pretty.
This is goofy. It's fun. Caricature, you have... If it didn't look like you're not supposed to really complain, it's there to have fun with your face. Yeah. Just take a selfie with your phone now.
Yeah.
Like, if you just want to see what you look like.
I know, right?
But yeah, so that's the other thing is you would think just inherently problems will come up with because it is a cheeky art form. You are in a soft fun way, poking fun at them, not in a mean way at all, but in a fun way poking fun. So you'd think that there at least would have been a couple people who just didn't get it.
Yeah.
And who were like, hey, what the fuck? Why are you making my nose gigantic? Do I got a big nose? Like, you kind of do.
I have a formula from when I just don't want to deal with anything and I just want them to be happy and get money, which is like, make the girl skinnier with bigger boobs. Make big eyes. Get the eye shape down, but make the eyes bigger. Like, just basically, very much so, like, augment the beauty of the woman, and then, like, with the man, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, because he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember... So,
as long as the girl is happy, the guy is happy.
Yeah,
like,
that's
what
the
I've
rule.
seen. That's what I've seen, like...
Well, we have to look at our ladies to make sure we're allowed to enjoy something. I'm kidding. It's a joke. Did I like that? I did, okay. I'm kidding. That's not in any way how I am.
And these are all, like, they're generalities. It's just like I've been doing this for over a decade now, so it's like those are the things that, like, I can, like, say most of the time. Not all the time.
Airplane? Oh, motorcycle. Oh, jeez. Anyways, I love this mic and I hate this mic because the mic picks everything up and it's great because we don't have to have like a mic close to us. But if anyone sneezes like 4 blocks away, we hear it.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell? But yeah, so I was going to ask another question with caricatures. Oh yeah, so Jess, I remember when I was doing airbrush, and we'll get to that with you at like post-proms and stuff, and I could tell when you just wanted to crank one out, when I was like... That's just a caricature. Like, how much did you actually look up? You're like, okay, here. And I was like, that looked just like the last one. I feel like you're just like, all right, push these up, make the cheeks big, play with the nose, and give them a weird smile, and if they have freckles, add them. And that's when you're on, like, the cranking them out mode. But it usually still looks great. It's still what they want.
Yeah.
I feel like I've just completely insulted your craft.
No, not really. I'm trying to understand. Do you mean, like, I wasn't achieving a likeness? Or, like, I was being, like...
No, you have it down to the point where you literally just know exactly what to push out. And it was more of a me admiring how quickly somebody would sit down and in like 4 minutes you would just throw, and I could tell when you were just cranking out
you
caricatures.
get, like, I can get in a zone. And then, like, my line quality is a lot better when I'm in that too, because, like, if I'm in my head too much and I'm thinking about, like, the shapes that I'm laying down too much, the line quality gets a little bit shakier. I start to overthink it. It starts to look less sleek. Like, so yeah, with those post proms, it's like one after the other. So it just like gets you into it.
There's a huge line too.
So there always is. The lines don't bother me. I just like, you just can't look at the line. I think I gave you that advice. I was like, don't worry.
And
about the line.
I don't think I ever cared.
Don't look about the line. Don't look at the line. Don't worry about the line. One thing I forgot to tell you was don't rant about communism. I didn't realize.
Somebody asked for a hammer and sickle.
No, I know.
And I said, hey, I had a hammer and sickle T-shirt for my senior pictures. And then, next thing you know, 5 guys are coming up to me talking about socialism, and I was like, I fucked up, didn't I? And you were looking like, what are you doing?
Their parents are here.
Yeah, no, and the teachers are here. And it was the school I graduated from.
No, that wasn't your fault. I realized, because I have other airbrush tattoo artists, and the thing is like, I've had to tell more than one tattoo artist already, like, don't talk about communism, don't talk about socialism, like, just...
The funny thing is, I'm not a socialist either. I just used to really push the, like, hammer and sickle thing because I loved it, and I loved communism when I was poorer and grew up. Because I'm sorry, but it's just the way it was before I worked all the time, and my economic political views have changed. Socially,
none of your views like personally offended me at all either. Like, I don't care. People can believe what they want to believe. It's just like at those gigs, like, I just very much so want to keep it as clean as possible. Like, I'm being paid.
No, and I feel
I'm being paid to be like.
And I think I caught it at that point. I was trying to stop it, but and, like, it was once you get 4 people talking and coming up and trying to talk to me when I'm doing them, I'm like, yeah, that's great. Yeah, cool. Karl Marx. Leave me alone. But
yeah, so that's like when I'm doing like high schools, it's like it's got to be very PC. Like, I don't want to offend anybody.
Well, so. I remember you just straight up, like, one of the first rules was like no tramp stamps.
Oh yeah, like
so, like if they have to move clothing, you can't do it.
Well, that was one of the rules that I was given when I was doing airbrush tattooing earlier in my career. Well, that's how I had been doing that earlier in my career, and I just kind of passed it off. And trained airbrush tattoo artists after that, so I could make money off.
So you can do caricatures during it.
Yeah,
that's fine. I liked it because you were like, I'm making so much money out of you. I'm like, whatever, I'm fucking doing nothing.
I
I'm
never
making
said
money.
it like that.
I think pretty sure you said it like that.
I might have said it like that.
I'm pretty sure you did. Keep in mind, after these gigs, it's 3 a.m. We're very candid.
And you're still getting paid like $50 an hour.
Yeah, no, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And you know the great thing is I would take work off to do it, so I was getting vacation pay.
Yeah, double pay.
So I was getting hourly, my normal hourly pay, and then I was doing your thing, which was great. And
well, I wanted to be able to do that because, like, when I was starting out, the most I would ever get is like 30% getting sent out on commissions like that. And like I was like young and dumb, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm making $30 an hour.
Yeah,
whatever, I'm amazing. But it's like no, it's like. Oh, They just made $130 an hour off for you, and you drove 8 hours, dumbass.
Yeah, jeez.
And like no like gas compensation or anything, but you learn, and like they have the contacts, they have the setup, they gave you the training.
That was another thing.
They have the materials.
That's why whatever you were going to pay me, I was going to be okay with, because for one, it was a day off and I was getting money and I was still bullshitting with you. It was still fun. I never felt like any of that was work. Ever. It felt like we were bullshitting and I was just fucking putting paint on people. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But I understood all that right away. I'm like, I didn't set this up. I didn't do anything. It's not my equipment. All I'm doing is using your equipment. I'm just an extension of your hands, essentially. And why am I going to complain about that?
You did have to have training, and like you did, like it's a hard thing to find people to take on as subcontractors for airbrush. Because like they have to have like a certain like mixture of things. One is a decent eye for color. Yeah. So that's why I like go. I go for eye. Yeah. No. Yeah. And you do though. You have training. You have. Yep. You've had your own training. You're very prolific with your work. Yeah. So like your eye is already down. Yeah. And then it's the matter of learning the basic mechanics for airbrush. Because like if you're doing a studio.
Which did take me a minute, but it's because I'm a total retard.
No, you learned it about the same rate as any of my other.
Oh really? Oh sweet! I should read that on my next. My resume. Call back joke, and I didn't even nail it. Threw that a resume profile. What do I call it? Damn it!
No, you were fine with it. But that was the thing, though. But you have to have that, and then you have to have because people that I want on my team, on my staff, have to have a personality. Yeah. They can't. They have to be able to entertain, because one of the things I'm providing is like a really neat live art experience, and part of that is like somebody who's good at what they're doing and can engage with you and talk to you and entertain you and then read you and play off of you.
And that's what I would try to do. And that goes back to what we were saying about even serving tables. Is I can't act like a machine.
No,
and that's not what you wanted.
That's why I worked so hard to like make this like something that is my primary source of income, is because like I don't like working for other people. Yeah. And I do really enjoy being good at my job. I do really enjoy learning the professional ropes. I really enjoy working hard.
Keep that door open, Danny. Oof. Okay.
The expectations of my clients, but I also incredibly enjoy the fact that if somebody's being really unreasonable, I can just be like.
Yeah, like whatever. You don't have to put up with what the boss will say.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just like I have my own autonomy. I set my own hours.
Let's move back. So we just jumped way forward to you running a business.
Oh, okay.
So let's move back. So you just got into Caricatures, where we're at. You went out to the city.
Yeah, I went out to cities.
Yeah, and then you moved past. So I got doing 2 questions to fill in the gap. When did you start having kids? Because I know your kids aren't super young. You have some.
No, they're little.
Pretty grown children.
Right? I think they're still litty.
Anything past 2 is a grown child.
Oh, is it?
I was to the point that I don't have to like, I don't know, congratulate you on your kid. Is when it's like, oh, they're pretty old now. So yeah. My 2 questions is when did the airbrush come in, or 3 questions. And when did the kids come in, and then when did you start trying to take care of it all yourself and trying to run your own thing?
Okay, so the airbrush came in right away because working at the kiosks in the mall, you color everything with airbrush. Yeah. So I got trained on airbrushing.
So add stencils, doing 2 jobs.
The paint, add the stencils, and then learn a lot about my own equipment, because like when you work for somebody, they handle like... They know how to break down your guns. They give you some basic cleaning up after your guns rules, but like if things go bad, they do the troubleshooting. They have the materials to fix it. So it's like a huge part of it is learning your materials. So that was a hump that I had to get over.
I mean, at least in my experience, I didn't have to deal with it too much, but you wanted me to at least mostly deal with something before I bugged you because you were trying to get going on it. So, but I feel like it wasn't that hard to be like, okay, what's causing this? Is it the gun? Is it the ink? Is it this? Is that?
Yeah, no,
okay, cool.
It's just like a few directives on different ways you can troubleshoot, and like you were able to figure a lot of that stuff out.
It's not that hard.
I don't remember. Well, there are some things that are a little hard, but like that's the thing that was like I would
also
like,
what we were doing is so basic. It was one color to two colors, like brr, brr. It's not like I'm doing this elaborate like an art piece on someone's back.
I like doing that stuff, but that's like completely different.
But I was doing like a dolphin with two colors on someone's hand.
Yeah, exactly, with like a stencil that has a vinyl adhesive on it, so you don't even have to be coordinated to do it. Just like shoot in the general direction with the right pressure and you'll get it.
I did do a couple where I went back to the old. I was really tired for one of them, and the person ended up liking it, but it was like one of our last ones of the night, and I was super tired. And I remember when I used to do stencils in graffiti, is I loved when you sprayed over the paper a little, so it would give a tiny little bit of a border.
Yeah.
And it was this tiny little stencil, and I kind of like did a little overspray around it to give that.
Yeah.
And they didn't ask for it at all, and I was like, oh shit, what did I just do? And they're like, oh, that looks really cool that way. I'm like, ooh.
Yes.
Like, I fucked that one up on purpose and they liked it. Oh my god. But, anyways, yeah, so you right away you threw in airbrush tattoos with...
Well, no, not right away. Like, basically the timeline was, like, moved to the cities, was doing caricatures at, like, different malls, and then I also was, like, working at a bookstore and an Italian restaurant or whatever, because, like, I'm getting 35% of whatever I make all day. So,
yeah.
And the cities is expensive. And I didn't know where anything was, so I would, like, there was one time I spent $70 in gas looking for a place that was literally, like, 2 miles away from my original destination.
Oh, no.
I was a little disoriented, and I was super broke. I lived off a ramen noodle. It was just, like... It was very much so a fun time in my life.
Yeah.
But so I worked a lot.
Sounds like art school without the school.
Yeah.
That was me living in Seattle, broke as shit. So kind of the same.
Yeah. But from there, but like at that point, like I moved there and like I had fallen in love with somebody, and then we had a surprise.
Oh, okay.
Like after a little over a year of being together.
At least it was a little over a year and not. Like,
yeah, and we were.
What's your last name? Oh, by the way, I'm pregnant.
Yeah, no, that would be horrifying. No,
I'm pretty sure that's how my parents met. I'm not even kidding. I'm pretty sure that is.
Well, no, but like that kind of like changed my directive at that point. Like I wasn't. I very much so wanted to just go for something like stable, and like being a stay-at-home mom became like my main
objective.
My main goal, and. So that got me into the studio doing a lot of my own like series of work.
Yeah.
There, because that was something where I could have my baby like sitting right next to my easel, and I could be working on something for long periods of time, and then she would wake up. I could take care of her.
So you want to make money from home? So
I wasn't even trying to make money. I just was like really. Well, at that point, like it wasn't really about money in term of my life, because I just like I didn't see myself as like a working artist.
Yeah.
I wasn't depending on money or anything. And then like I was really exploring my own mediums. I was like very into mixed media, and I was really into like taking the idea of photorealism and then just like bending and abstracting it. So there's like elements
surrealism?
of both. Yeah, bet.
Yeah.
Like so it's just like I was really having fun with that. And then so I ended up like just producing such a large body of work. And then I would do this thing where I would go to the thrift stores and I would buy frames, and then I would cut paper to match the frames. And then I would put the work in those frames. And the father of my children had gone to art school, so he already knew how to cut his own cut his own mats and everything.
Yeah.
So he would give me direction on how to make it.
We learned that in art school? Oh,
yeah,
man.
I had to.
I must have been asleep at that point. Or I already decided I was going to paint on wood and I didn't give a shit about frames and mats. But
I'm not saying I'm a fan of it or I like it or I don't like outsource it, because I do.
Yeah.
I don't.
I've always just, and here's just a way off the topic, but I always hated the idea of frames and mats, because one, you didn't make the frame. Like, really, it didn't seem like I created it, so it's like, oh, I'm putting something around my art that I didn't create, and that always set weird with me. Uh-huh. Like, if you're not 100% in control of everything you're doing, I felt like you're
cheating a little bit.
Yeah, like, even people who use, which now I don't have this stigma as much, but people who would use, like, paint drips, who would like, oh, I'll do really thick and I'll let it drip. I'm I'm like, you didn't control those drips. Fuck you. Make your drips. And I had that weird, like, you have to do everything or else it's not you.
Yeah.
And so that scared me away from mats and frames. But then I even got to the point where everyone's doing it. Why do I have to do it? Like,
Yeah.
I never understood if somebody, like, I understand why I have to clean out a brush, or I understand why I have to paint on this, or why that, like, structural things. But what does a frame actually do to my piece? Didn't make any sense to me. So I found a median that no one notices when there isn't a frame, which is wooden. If you paint on a piece of wood, no one's gonna be like, "Where's the frame?"
Yeah.
But if you paint on a piece of paper, somebody's gonna be like, "How come that's not framed?"
Right, though.
So fuck that. I do
Yeah.
plywood. Anyways, again, this is about me. Already? Oh yeah, you're right. I was gonna call him out, but we're good.
I don't know what's happening now.
He gave you that 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So move on. You're already in like your mid-20s. We gotta get caught up. So you have the one kid. What happened with everyone else? All right, moving. Joking. What's up?
What do you want me
My
to
name's
talk
Mark. We were at. You were doing art. Stayed home mom. Your
Well,
baby
so I made
daddy
this series-
was doing art too, or went to art school.
He went to the art school, but he didn't really do any art
Oh,
after art school.
but you were
Like,
doing
at all.
art, and he
I was
wasn't?
doing lots of art.
That's funny.
Yeah, I put on a 6-artist show in St. Paul that he got to be a part of, but he just like used some stuff from his like his
college days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a really cool piece. It was like the skeleton of like this weird like dinosaur, and it was huge. It was like 365 pieces.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, he's a pretty legit artist. Like
Yeah, but
when he wants
but
to
he
art.
just didn't stick to it.
Yeah,
Which-
I'm not sure. I don't need to go into that, but like, yeah. So like, I don't know. He's a very good artist. I forget where we were going from. Anyway, so I had this huge body of work. He gave me some directive on how to like do the mats, and then like with the frames, I would just like find frames, and like if they needed to be fixed, I'd fix them, and then I like paint them, and sometimes I'd paint the mats too, because like I didn't go to art school first, so I didn't have any rules in my head other than what I think looks good.
Which is good.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
Like it allowed me to like establish my own artist voice before I had like critiquing and criticism and guidance is really great for pushing you towards leveling up
That's the
in
one thing
directions that you wouldn't necessarily go to on your
thing I
own.
miss out of art school is now having my own studio. I don't have that 6 people and I only like one of them critiquing my piece, because that's exactly what you don't want. Your friends, you want other artists. Even a little bit of competition helps critiquing your pieces.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I so miss. And I wish that like I always had just like 6 artists and I don't really know them, that I could just like hit a button and they just show up at the studio, and it's like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. Hey, I like what you did here. All right, thanks. All right.
Yeah.
And I hit the button, they're gone. And so I miss critiquing a lot.
Yeah.
Anyways. So I just go up to the coffee shop and just like, hey, you! Come on down and look at this piece. That's what I do now.
It's Pullman. But it's nice. So that gave me I felt a lot more free, and I think a lot of my early work was sometimes like better than some of my work after like training. Well,
Okay.
not I'm completely done training or finished with
Yeah.
my career or my education or anything, but like but it had a response. The first place I hung it up was in the Red Raven. Like
Yeah.
I put a whole series of work up in the Red Raven when it was over on Robert Street, and then there was a gallery right above it in Framing Shop, and the owner of that gallery would come down and get coffee every day, and she happened to come down while I was putting up my work, and she loved it.
That's
and she
awesome.
was like, I have a space next year in November. Do you want that spot? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I want that spot.
Yeah.
So so I created a whole different series for that, and then like on purpose got pregnant again.
Same guy.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And on purpose like got pregnant again because I wanted, because like I wasn't gonna have kids, but like Ella was there. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I know me. I'm like,
you need something to distract the other one.
Yeah, no, I wanted Ella to have somebody to grow up with.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm gonna die, and she's gonna be like just sitting there, like, what? Like, you know what?
Wanna be with this guy?
Her dad's like 10 years older than me, so he's kicking the bucket way before me. So,
And also, even if he was the same age, he's kicking the bucket before you.
yeah,
so
no, exactly. So he's not going to be around in the long run. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so I need to be able to.
But at that point, he was what, early 30s, and you're already like, whatever, you're kicking the bucket soon.
Yeah.
Or mid 30s.
No. But like, no, I think we started dating. He was 32 and I was 23.
Okay.
Yeah, I just turned 23.
Okay, so you didn't have so.
It wasn't that big of an age difference.
Well, not only that, but it wasn't like you had your first kid super young either. You were.
No,
I mean,
I got pregnant when I was 24, and then like had her when I was 25.
And I know people who were 14 and 15.
Exactly.
So it wasn't that.
I was very, like I said, I was pretty hell bent on not getting pregnant. Like I didn't think that was going to be part of my life. Like I really just wanted to like travel and see the world and just like be weird and do art and like be free. And
I
then,
get it.
like,
You were 23. I feel you.
Yeah, and that's just where I was. But it was just I like when I got pregnant, like I just know of myself that I had to go through with it, and like that was my own personal. I don't make judgments on anybody else for what they do or think, but that was just something I just knew I had to, and I wanted to. Because like once, like I remember I used to like when I was like just late, I'm just like, God, please don't let me be pregnant. And I don't necessarily believe in a particular God. I believe there's like some sort of spirit out there. I'm just like, please don't let me be pregnant. But if I am, don't hurt it. Like
I don't want this unless I have it. I don't want it, but I don't want it. I don't want it.
I just like it's just like once I knew she was in me, I just like I knew I had to do everything I could to like bring her into the world in the best, healthiest, most conscious way I possibly could. So I just like started. That's where my mind went for like a huge block of years, was just like learn how to be a really good parent. And I had to retrain myself because I never had any of that. So it really was like reading a lot of like psychology journals and a lot of like books about child rearing and stuff like that, and like working out my own issues and everything. So I didn't like just pass all that down, and really like I went down the rabbit hole pretty far there for a minute. So I was like I gotta learn how to like grow. I learned how to grow and can my own food and store it. I can filter water like out of a fucking tube sock if I need to. Like
it's funny that you went that far, and like my mom figured out how to open a can of food. And you were like, I can turn that can of food into like water. It's like you're putting way more thought into this than our parents did, which is great. Which is exactly what you want.
My own food and everything too, because I just wanted to be able to like really have sovereignty over the food that my children were eating, because I really think the food source in America, the standard American diet, is sad. It is making us incredibly sick.
I live 100% off Big Mac, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
I'm kidding. It's a joke. But I do understand.
But I just didn't want that. Like I was getting incredibly sick, sick, and it was really just like finding a book that was like, you need to change your diet. You need to deal with your emotional shit. You need to start find some connection to like some sort of spiritual source. You've got to get all of those. Well, the thing is like in like Tibetan medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, and Chinese medicine, mind, body, soul. Those all have to be in communion with each other if you want physical health. You need to have mental health. You have to have spiritual health. In whatever form that is for you. Yeah. And so, like, I very much so that became my whole life. And so, from that birthed a lot of beautiful art and a lot of reflection about, like, my sickness. Like, because I would do, like, these trees, and I know like trees can be cliche or frowned upon, but like my trees were always like different colors, and they always like hacked to shit and like huge knots and just like dying, but then like parts thriving and like all these different. Then I would add different elements of like animal and abstract backgrounds and stuff like that to like add more to the piece, and it was all about that spiritual transformation, and that really resonated with the art community here. And then all of a sudden, so then I just started to get like invited and embraced into the art community, and that's when I was just like, okay, well, I think maybe I do have something here. And that's what like really gave me the confidence to like start thinking of myself as like a legit, not just a caricature artist, but like
but as a legit artist,
like with a legitimate voice.
That's probably why I haven't been embraced by the art community, because I believe in, I don't have a soul, and all my pieces are just horrible and violent, and then it's like, I feel like the art community's like, and then that guy's over there. I feel like I scare a lot of the like people who are like, but art's about beauty. I'm like, art's about whatever it needs to be about. But for me specifically, I don't want to create something that makes you feel pleasure. I want to question you, and I want you to question yourself, and I want you to realize the horrible nature of me and everybody that everybody has.
I think that's so much of the role of artists.
Well,
I think that's very like when I did go to art school, one of the first things when we were just like getting down basic definitions, what's form, contour, all of that stuff, and like one of the things was like, what is art? And the best definition I got from it is when the artist expresses their own individual interpretation of what they see
with,
of their
yes.
world. You're giving everybody else an insight into what you as an individual are seeing.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said it that way, because that's one reason why a lot of photorealism, which it takes a lot of talent. I feel you. It's really hard to do completely photorealistic shit. But I have a camera and I can produce photorealistic shit and I know what an apple looks like, so I've always like, all right, cool, can you show me how you see the apple as an example? And in that angers a lot of people, especially the art school I went to was mostly design, so a lot of them were not a lot of abstract or expressionists. I'm probably, out of the entire school, I was one of maybe 2 expressionists.
Yeah.
There were a couple abstract artists, which isn't the same, but I was one of the only people who were like, no, I'm trying to make this piece about jealousy, and I want you to realize that, of the piece that every single person has, and at the same time, every single person doesn't want to see in somebody else or in themselves, yet we all have it. Like anger. Everybody has that little bit of anger that makes you want to just strangle your cat when it's meowing during a moment where you don't want to hear anything. You don't ever strangle the cat, hopefully. But we all have that moment of anger, and I want to put that out.
Yeah, I don't think it's healthy to like push and deny that we all have these impulses. Like, we're all human beings. We all have a preliminary programming.
And what I always thought of it as a tragedy that this really huge part of ourselves is socially unacceptable, so we will push it in. Yeah. And even the shit that I get isn't okay, but we still have it. Like extreme sexual urges. People have those. I'll look at somebody without not even noticing what their face looks like or whoever they are, and I'll have like, ooh, I wonder what her whatever tastes like. And then I'm like, wow, what the fuck? Don't think that. But I would want to put that on a piece because I know a lot of people have those thoughts and those horrible things that we try to push down. Anyway, so you had a kid, though. That's great.
Transition.
But my point was you were saying at that moment after you had the kid of what matters in your life, of the mind, body, soul, all times in the health, and that's probably. And my first thought was like, I don't consider myself healthy. I don't believe in the soul, and I'm like really fucked up when it comes to mind shit. And then you're like, and that's why the art community embraced me. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah, it was all really raw, and I think that's what made people gravitate towards it, because I didn't have in my head, well, I'm worried that the form is off here. Yeah. I'm worried about like what colors I actually put down and how that corresponds to like.
Color's the one time I actually follow. Like, of the rules, because there's rules of art. There's linear perspective, there's color, there's complementary colors, there's colors you don't put next to each other. Yeah. When it comes to linear perspective, I don't give a fuck. Like, I just don't. It didn't exist in art for 1,000 years. Why does it need to exist now? Or more than 1,000 years, but it exists for art that we see in art history for a very long time. Why does it need to exist now? But when it comes to color, I think of color as such a primal thing, of something that there is color that our eyes don't want to notice. Yeah. So, just period. You can take a painting that is super famous and amazing, switch the color around, and you're not going to want to see it. So that makes it actually important. Yeah. In even knowing the rules of color and breaking them on purpose is a whole other thing of then putting colors next to each other that aren't supposed to fit, that make your eyes go, ugh.
Yeah, but it's part of what the artist is trying to elicit from you.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, but you can tell, like at least I can because I'm such a color freak, of when an artist doesn't know those rules when it comes to color. Of somebody who's like, well, I'm going to put like a burnt sienna next to a burnt umber and then like another yellow, and nothing's conflicting with each other. They didn't put down a base color before the color on top, which I don't do a lot, but they didn't do that, nor do they have any conflicting colors on it at all. Yeah. And I'm like, I wouldn't even notice a fucking painting is there unless you told me. Like, do something interesting when it comes to color. So that's, Anyways, rules of art. So you felt like people gravitated towards your stuff because you weren't hindered by a lot of the chains that we learn.
In retrospect, In retrospect, I think that had something to do with it.
Okay, because I get that of us learning rules, and then it straight up hinders a lot of in art school. It can. I don't think it always does.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It can.
To me.
That was kind of like going to art school after having so many years, like having an art business and all of that.
Yeah, because you were in art school when I met you, which is way later on.
Yeah, I wanted, like, but I didn't want to be a feral artist forever. I didn't want to be, like, I don't want to be driving out to the middle of nowhere at, like, from midnight to 3 in the morning. I mean, it's a big payday, but, like, you know.
I feel ya.
I want to, like.
I don't want to be in the passenger seat either, so I get it.
Yeah, I know, right? You know, so I just, like, I wanted something more stable. So I, like, I went and I pursued my MFA in, or my BFA in illustration and drawing. And just through that, taking, you could get, like, an art therapy minor. Okay. And all I'd have to do is take, like, a certain amount of psychology classes and then, like, do a practicum and then, like, and then I have my minor. So I started with that. And then from there, I just, like, I kind of fell in love with art therapy. And, like, so, yeah, that's actually, like, that's going to be my retirement plan. Like, 40-year-old Lisa is going to love me. Okay. You know, because, like, that's when, like, I have I think the median income for that is, like, $60K. Which I can live off of that. I'm living off of, like, less than that right now.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Know?
Yeah.
So
it's a great thing about being poor for a really long time. If you get right above the poverty line, you're like, made it! Yeah, I make 41 a year? Boom! Mic drop. But, okay, so you brought up another thing. So I was going to ask, when did you get involved with actual Fargo Moorhead visual artists?
In 2015.
Okay, so not super long ago.
No, not that long ago. I had, just like through a group of friends that I had, a few of those people were on the board. Like, the younger people on the board, kind of like taking the helm.
Yeah. And these old artists are going to die soon. They need something.
Well, it's at some point, you know. Like, but like it is like usually the younger, more ambitious people, like newbies, that will get.
Yeah.
You know, and but they had been doing it for a while, and they're just like these beautiful, like, and that was when I found like my true like tribe or like clique of, because like I just met like so many like talented, beautiful women, like these artistically like gifted, just wonderful human beings. And so I just started clicking with them, and then like just hanging out and like having art nights with them and like whatever. And then like they were just like, hey, we're gonna have this opening on the board and we'd like you to run.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And then like I ran and then I got in. And
how many people are actually like voting members to vote onto the board?
Up to 12.
Okay.
You can have 9 members.
So you only need like a small group of people to like you and you're good. Like,
wait. What?
Like, I mean, if you said you
when
run
you're getting
for
elected
the board.
on the board, when you're getting elected on the board, we have a annual meeting. And
do we?
Well, FMVA has an annual meeting.
No, I mean, I'm part of FMVA.
Oh, yeah.
Do we?
Yeah, it's in the
I've never gone.
It's in the newsletter. It's okay, I can text you all.
There's a newsletter?
I'll text you in October.
Okay.
You can come. We actually don't have elections this year. It'll be next year, though.
Do you want to hear something funny? So I subjected a piece to the Big Art Show this year, and I didn't until, like, the day it was going up. I was like, they never got back to me. What the hell? I checked my email, and they totally got back to me. I just never checked my email, and I was like, oh, I could have had a piece in that show. And I was all bitter, like, how come they didn't call me? Yeah. No, they totally did.
Yeah, email is, like, generally the way.
I know, that's like, that's an adult thing and an artist thing
and
is super emails. And I remember that in school, everything was emails. And a lot of things that I had to put up with in art school, I now completely reject. Like, I hate any type of code writing, and I went to school for a lot of computer shit, and I just hate it now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to even touch a computer during the podcast. Like, that's how much that's why he's here. Because I'm like, yeah, I had to do that shit for years, and that's why I just hate emails. I just, like, just call me.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, man, we're it's not like you're in, like, LA. Like, that, like, we are in the same time zone. Just text me. Like, how hard is this? So it's just something that whenever I have to dabble into that world is always, like, my one fuck up. It's like, I emailed you. I'm like, oh, shit, I don't fucking look at that stuff. I don't even have the email alerts on my phone. If an email shows up, I kill it right away. I don't even look. So that's why I probably haven't made it as an artist. So I hate emails. Anyways, so you got voted onto the board in 2015.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the fall of 2015, and I've been on the board ever since.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we skipped a couple parts. So how many children have you now ended up with?
Oh, I have 2.
2. That's just the 2.
My accident baby, and then my companion to my accident baby.
your accident baby, and then they're like, fuck it, baby.
Well, no, that was a very intentional one. It was like,
oh, your accident baby, and the accident baby needs something to hang out with.
The accident baby buffer. Like, well, I love Sophie.
The bonus.
She's great.
So 2 girls?
2 little girls, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so I have to ask, like, I don't know the question because that's what interviewing is. So you didn't stay with the baby daddy?
We separated in 2015.
I didn't know that it was that recent, so I thought that by the time... I met you before that.
Yeah,
I thought that was all over by the time I met you.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no.
shit. So did you, like, stab him? Did you kill him? How did you separate?
No. It was... Just kind of fell out of love. And we, like, had been living in an unhappy relationship for a really long time, and...
Yeah, you realize why are you living in toxic when both of you guys could just be happy?
I think neither of us really advocated...
Yeah.
For ourselves, like, we both, like, would just go passive.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, like, actually, like, getting some balls and, like, addressing our feelings to each other. And that was just our mode of operation. And I think that silence is a huge killer of a relationship. And that's something that I very much learned in retrospect.
Yeah.
All of that. But,
I feel you. I'm married now. I understand.
Yeah, you gotta work at it. You gotta ask the hard questions. You gotta stay emotionally open and vulnerable towards this person. You can't... Mm-hmm. You can't just, like, go numb to get through, because then all of a sudden you can't come back, and that's kind of what happened to us. And
yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. Like, I have no ill will towards the father. He's a really good father. We both, like... That's good. We share 50-50. We live, like, right across the park from each other. Like...
Are you guys still right... Or are you still right where you were last time I had to bike to your place?
I don't remember. Probably.
You were over by Mickelson?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Still
yeah.
Same
I bike by there on my way to work, so I bike by there. I think actually right down the street near you.
Okay.
Every day, twice. If I bike, sometimes I drive. But I try to bike when the weather's nice. I gotta get my fat ass on something. And I like biking because it's like running, but you get to sit down.
I love biking. I love riding my bike everywhere.
Right. No, when people are like, you're really active. You bike everywhere. I'm like, biking's not that hard, guy. Like, you don't bike a lot. Like, I'll be 400 pounds and I'll still be biking as much as I am now. Like, it doesn't actually help me lose weight. Like, I have to starve myself to lose weight.
It keeps the cardiovascular, or not the cardiovascular, but the cardio up. Like.
Yeah, but I bike on a high gear, so I don't like to, like, move my feet a lot. I'm really lazy when it comes to biking. I went down to a second gear the other day when I'm like, I've been doing 20-mile bike rides. And I'm like, I'm going to do this on one where I have to pedal a lot. And like a block into it, I'm like, fuck this is work. There you go. So I'm more build muscle in my legs than my cardio. Yeah. Here's just a really funny story. So I have to stay up all night for my work sometimes. So I meet up with people at like IHOP or other 24-hour places at like 1, and then I get coffee and then I have food so I can try to stay up. And IHOP is just, a couple blocks from me, so I want to meet my buddy at IHOP. Kitten's going to make some noise, I bet. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so it was like a little cold out, so that probably didn't help. But I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start listening to a song that gets me energetic, and then I'm going to start running. And I'm going to, like, be able to see how many songs I ran through, and I can see how long I ran before I got tired. Mm-hmm. And I, like, ran, like, make a block, maybe a couple blocks. I'm like, yeah, I did pretty good. Look, I'm, like, 2 minutes into the song, and I'm like, like, I am not in shape. This is horrible. I couldn't even make it through one Modest Mouse song. I fucked it up. Anyways, I can't believe the time's flying as much as we are. I don't feel like we're 100% caught up. So you had the 2 chillins. They're both girls, and you guys are, like, you don't hit them or anything? You guys are pretty good?
No, I don't hit
Pretty cool kids?
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, because that's like a gamble. You don't know if your kid's going to be an asshole or not. So
no,
it's like
I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with the parenting. It's not, children aren't born innately.
But I'm an asshole. That sucks. I'm going to have an asshole kid. That sucks.
Well, self-fulfilling prophecies and whatnot.
I know, my cat, he's pointing at my asshole cat, like, right now. It's like, I do have an asshole kid, and he's a little furry cat. What I love about my cat is he gets up into your face, and he's really cute, and then he punches you.
Oh.
So he's like, hey, look at me. You're like, I am. And he's like, wham, I hate you. And you're like, what the f-? Like, so yeah, that's what I did with a cat. I don't even want to know what I'll do with a kid. It's going to be a little serial killer. Anyways, this is going to be used in a court one day as incriminating evidence. So we're at, I think we did pretty good. So we're at FMVA. We already figured out how you got into there.
Yeah,
so.
And then actually in 2014 is when I officially established my Alikat Studios.
Cool.
And that's when I became like I'm basically an art agency.
Okay.
Like, yeah, you cannot hire me. Well, it started with just me. I'm doing caricatures and I'm doing airbrush tattoos, but as business started coming on, then I started pulling subcontractors, like caricature artists. I know a lot of them, and it takes forever to learn that. And I learned right away that you can't train a caricature artist very quickly.
Which is why when you brought me in, I came in as your other airbrush person, not as a caricature person.
Yeah, no, exactly. It takes less time.
And honestly, I wouldn't want to do caricatures. It's just my personal.
That's fine.
It's not my style.
I know a lot of really talented.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I have like one main, like the guy that got me started in caricatures. He's very like, that's his career. He's very gun ho about it, and he so like I throw him stuff, he throws me things, and I never take a percentage off of him, just because like he's the one that got me into out of like the street vending and being in kiosks and stuff into the real money, which is in contracts.
Yeah.
This is where you have high schools, colleges, corporations, all that stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Paying me crazy amounts of money an hour to like drive there and just draw nonstop.
Yeah.
So I just had this gig in Rolla, Minnesota, and it was 130th anniversary of the town, and it was like the biggest gig is 16 hours in 2 days. And at my rates, I was just like, oh my god, I won't have to work all summer. And then I upsold them on an airbrush tattoo artist, and I take half of their money. So it was like,
that was awesome.
So I'm gonna coast through the fall.
And that airbrush artist is like, I'm getting out like good, and you're like, no, I'm.
Well, no, they're still getting. But the thing is, it's like I make sure that what I pay them is still good. Mm-hmm. It is still really good.
I mean, honestly, from what I got, like, and I know I already said this, but like I understood how much I wasn't bringing to the table when it comes to doing that.
Yeah, exactly. So
if I was making that much money on a couple hours, like
no, when it's like I also represent like I said, other caricature artists and like other face painters. I'll represent. I'm going to move into representing musicians. That's something that I'm going to slowly work up to. I've done like the ground like research.
Yeah.
On it, like to understand how to negotiate.
So you bring in a musician as well on top.
Well, just like that's just another entertainment, a live art entertainment thing that Alikat Studios can offer, like perspective like. Client.
Is that my wife? You woke her up. You're so loud. No, it's fine. She's working graveyards right now, so she's been asleep in the other room the whole time.
So that's my very early baby project. Is that one's new? Like what I basically did is I contacted, because I know. There's something about like musicians and visual artists, we don't know each other one way or another. So just like the friends that I made in the music scene, I was able to reach out to some of them and just kind of ask them those questions, like, well, what do you charge, and like, well, what is this? And and then like I don't share that information with the other artists with each other, but I collect that from everybody. That way, in my head, you get a feel for what the market is, what clients are going to be expecting, what clients are willing to pay, and more importantly, what is a fair amount for me, because I don't want to represent artists and cheat them out.
Yeah, you want to be fair.
On money. Yeah, I want to be fair.
Especially since you're going to be working with other artists. So if you, let's just say for example, you paid me very low, and then I found out you paid me very low, and then I could go tell other artists, and the next thing you know, you won't be able to find anybody.
No, it's not even really that.
It's just about being a good person.
If you've already got like a band and an outfit, and you've been working on that for years, or if you've already gotten to the point where you can work contracts for being a caricature artist, you have years and years of training and blood and sweat and tears and all of that in there. And I have no right to take a large chunk of money from you.
Yeah.
Like that's like maybe max 20%, and that doesn't come out of the artist.
Yeah.
That comes out of the client. It's like, this is what you're paying me for having the contacts, facilitating everything, and making sure it goes off without a hitch. And you're going to pay this artist what they want. Because like I very much feel like artists need to be talking to each other, and we need to set industry standards for stuff, because there are artists out there who are charging just so low. And I used to get, like, I would have artists that I was working for, like professional artists, like getting mad at me for charging too low for a commission or something, because you're confusing.
I've had people mad at me for selling pieces too low.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, but I don't even sell enough. Like, I'm sorry, I'm going to sell low because of my reasons. Like, I'm working full time. I don't really need I don't really rely on the selling the art and things like that, but it would really, it would piss people off.
I guess with other forms of visual art, or like that, sell it for what you want.
Yeah.
Really? But like when it comes to being in, the caricature community,
and it's completely different.
Being in the music community, or like that kind of stuff, there is there is an amount that needs to be paid to artists, and when people are underselling underselling themselves, clients get off put when somebody's actually asking for something that's
for
reasonable.
what's actual
this
fair.
is freaking reasonable. It's like, no, you're not just training for me to come and draw or you're not paying for me to come and draw for 4 hours. You're paying for the 10 years it took me to be able to render that likeness in 4 minutes.
And that's what
you are paying for my travel. Like I can't.
Not even close. Okay, we got the 1 minute, and I'm like, that's not gonna happen. It's fine. I was gonna say one thing, and exactly what you're saying is actually what scared me out of design, because I was working as a designer when I was already in school, and I hated that I have the training, I have the knowledge, and for some reason I don't have the final say on the product. And that's something that always pissed me off as a designer, which is why I'm not one, of when a client who has no fucking clue what looks good, he's not actually a designer, I just went to school for it, he's like, actually, let's change this. I'm like, what? I made this design. He's like, well, I like it, and gives me this, like, fucking blowjob reason, like, I like it, but, why don't we just change this color? I'm like, well, that color won't look good with this. And it's like, well, I'm the client. It's like, fine, I'll sell it to you, but I don't want my name on it now.
Yeah.
And that got me out of the whole deal. I hated it, my art, me not having the final say on my art, and that got me out of designing immediately, which I understand a lot of artists don't have the same roadblocks in the brain as I do.
It just depends on the art for me.
Which
really.
is also why
it's like my own like signature series
much.
stuff like that. Like I'll take some feedback. It's like I want something that kind of represents this, and if they let me like take that idea and like really like mull it over and then like integrate it in to like this flow and style I already have.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really organic and really natural, and I'm okay with doing that.
Yeah, that's
good. But that's as far as I like getting directive for something like that. But with caricatures, it's like, no, you actually talk to me. Tell me what is your vision for this. I'll send clients like, here is a rough sketch of like, this is how I rendered you. What do you think? Do you want me to emphasize this? Do you want me to emphasize that? And like, just tell me what you want, and I can do that. Like, because I don't have any ego attached to it, because it is really a service for me. It's not my own personal expression about
something. Yeah, and something I don't have that ability to do, and you do, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand that. That's why I've never tried to make a life of doing more commercial art, which is why I've realized that I won't be able to have that because of the roadblocks in my head. So that's why I do work 40 hours in a factory to make my money. So then my art can just be me rubbing my balls on a piece of wood and being like, fuck it, it's expression. And it doesn't matter how much somebody wants to buy it, because it was me expressing myself. And then an hour later, I'm going to rub a different body part on it and paint over it, because it didn't actually matter in the first place. Anyways, we're at the 1 minute mark, and I feel like we didn't completely cover all of your life.
Well, that's okay, but I have a business. It's called Alikat Studios.
Yeah, no, plug, shit. So what's your name? You're Alissa.
My name's Alissa Allery.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you say it. Is that where Alikat came from?
Yeah.
Allery?
Yes.
Just got it.
Yeah, no, it's like... So yeah, no, one thing about what I really like about Alikat Studios is that there is this facet of it that is very much more directed towards making money, to get more accessing the backup, training that I have that I can just like output quickly.
Yeah.
And then my marketing background, and that's what keeps my studio open. But that also opens me up to be able to have the time and like the resources to create my own individual stuff. Like my own individual series are very much so separated from like murals that I do, from caricatures that I do, from airbrush stuff. Like I do like full body airbrushing. Like I'm doing if you're interested in you can't go, but it's like a woman's empowerment.
So men aren't allowed.
But basically they're paying me a bunch of money to like airbrush naked women.
That's awesome.
Just like, I think it's awesome too. I'm pretty excited about it.
I'm glad we went over just to hear that. Okay, I know that we both like to talk, so I just have to be rude and end it. But I am looking forward to having you on this again. I have to wait a little while until I bring the same person on. But but that was an awesome talk. Yeah. I'm glad that you're doing something that makes you happy and you're making money for it, because there's like 5 of those in the world. So
I feel pretty lucky. Like there's
is that all you're doing right now? Is just that you're actually completely living off of Alikat Studios at this point?
Yeah, well, I'm working towards my master's.
Okay.
Like I'm not.
So not only doing that, but you're also doing school.
I'm going to school full time. So when I'm in school, I'm not. I still take contracts that are thrown to me, but I'm not like marketing or anything, or like adding anything extra into it. But like the summers, I always take off, and all I do is.
Yeah, well, that's where a lot of your time where you can actually work. There's not a lot of festivals or anything going on in the winter.
I don't even do like a lot of festivals. It's really just contracts.
I'm saying there's not a lot of anything going on in the winter for contracts.
Oh, employee parties, holiday parties.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, there's lots of... I don't want to give out my market, actually. Can you edit that out?
Yeah.
Just cut that shit out, please.
We're not that talented. It's okay, no one will listen. He can edit it out. And now he's done editing. Okay, no, so is that how it works? I don't know how it works. All right, but yeah, let's cut it off and end, and that was awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was a good talk.
Yeah,
and
thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem.
And bye.
Goodbye.
There you go. Thank you for listening to the Plains People podcast. That was my talk with Alissa, and it went really good as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, I'm pretty excited for next week, even though I'm not 100% sure who I'm going to be talking to next week. It's either going to be an interview with Barrett Ryder or Jay Stevenson. One of them's a musician from Oregon. One of them's a musician who's currently living here. And yeah, so that's what you guys are going to get. So within this next week, don't get stabbed, don't get run over by any rogue vehicles or rogue anything, honestly. Just don't get run over by something. And you guys have a good one. Bye! Sell gold!